Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sayo. If you're new here, thank you so much for stumbling on this video. I don't know if you stumbled on it or if somebody sent you the link, but anyway, you're welcome on board. This is a lifestyle and entertainment channel, and today we'll be talking a little about traveling, holidays and stuff like that. Travel is actually one of the segments on my channel, and I said to you in the last travel video that I did that I would try and be putting out a travel video every month. Look at me, keeping to my word, right? Can you give me a round of applause, please? But a round of applause, please. Okay, can you? Anyway, so yeah, today we'll be talking about what to consider, what you need to know or consider or research about before you actually book your accommodation for travel or for your holidays. Okay, so we're going to delve right into it, but before we do so, I'm just reminding you that if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and let's move this channel forward, like I always say. So let's get right into it, guys. Are you ready? Do you have your pen and your paper? Are you ready? So the very first thing that I'll be talking about is the price of the accommodation and the budget that you have. It pretty much determines all the other points that I'll be talking about, because really you want to know how much you can spend or how much you can afford at the time for wherever it is you want to book for accommodation, and that would determine where it would be. It would determine what kind of amenities it would have. It would determine what it comes with and stuff like that. So really that is the most important thing, I feel, especially if you're like me, that you're, I want to know how much I want to spend. I want to know, precisely, no, maybe not precisely, but I want to have a plan towards it, basically. So if you're someone like that and you just don't want to, spend as it goes, then you want to really consider budgeting for it, how much you want to spend, and that will determine all the other points that we'll be talking about in this video. So number one, what is your budget? Okay, how much can you really afford, basically? So let's keep that in the bag, shall we? Yeah, and then we'll continue. So number two, you want to consider the style of accommodation that you want to book. So do you want to book a hotel or a hostel, or an Airbnb? Before Airbnb, I think it used to be just hotels or hostels and stuff like that. But Airbnb recently, I would say recently, but it's been about a decade. I think 2007, 2008, that's when Airbnb started, where people rent out their houses for, visitors or for tourists to use for a period of time when they're staying there. I wouldn't be delving into them in much detail in this video. I'm just going to be talking about what to consider as per the type of accommodation that you want to stay in. So there are all different options out there, and it's for you to just say, well, this is where I'm going, or this is where I want to go. What kind of accommodation will suit me better? Is it the Airbnb style or is it the hotel style? So yeah, that's one thing to consider. And again, like I said, it would also depend on your budget, because generally the Airbnbs they tend to be a lot more cheaper than hotels, because they don't come including some of the things that hotels have. Okay, so yeah, that's one thing to consider. Then number three, we move on to considering what style of the room or what style of room you want to, and this is basically for if you're booking a hotel. What style of the room do you want? Do you want the regular single bed hotels? Do you want the is it double room or double bed? Do you want the deluxe style? Do you want the ones that have like balconies, and the ones that have like private pools and stuff like that? There are different style of rooms out there, and an hotel or a hotel, I don't know if it's A or an, would come with all those different types. So you want to consider which one you would like based on your budget and based on where you're going and based on how many of you are going. So all those kind of things would help you decide, well, what do I really want? But this video is just to make you see, or to open your eyes to the fact that all of these options are available, and all of these options are there for you to consider before you actually say, well, yeah, this is where I'm going. So yeah, you want to consider the kind of hotel or the kind of room style that you're booking. That's number 3. Number 4, which is one of the most important things to consider, is the proximity of that accommodation to the city center and amenities. So basically buses, your trains, transport system, whatever transport system it is that they use, and then like maybe like shopping, where you want to shop or where you want to eat and stuff like that. What I realized with all of these places is that most of the times the ones that are closer to the city center are usually a lot more expensive than the ones that are outside, that are the ones that are farther. So it depends on you if you're happy to like travel, you know, into the city center, because usually when you're going on holiday, where things happen or where things happen is usually in the city center. Correct me if I'm wrong. Most of the time, I'm not saying all the time. And so you want to be able to travel into that place as easily as you can. You don't want to start stressing yourself in looking or in finding how to travel when you're in a new place, or when you're in a place that you're not familiar with, if you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, you want to consider the proximity of that place, of the accommodation, to the city center, or you want to consider how easy it is to travel from where it is you're going, or for where it is you are, the accommodation to the city center. So even if you're not staying somewhere close to the city center, you want to know that, well, there's a bus stop or there's a train station relatively, easy to get to, so that you can travel into the city center. You want to consider the proximity as well to planned activities. So I'm talking about your tours, places of interest. Like if you're going to a town and you've said, well, I want to visit so and so place, or if you want to do some tourist travel or tourism. Basically, you get what I'm trying to say. So you want to consider where you're staying, your accommodation, the proximity of it to all those places. It's just easier if you find somewhere that is at least close enough or easy enough to get to wherever else you're going. I understand that sometimes it might not be that straightforward, it might not be that easy, but I'm just saying that that's one thing to consider, and you can decide to, well, I'm going to go for this option because it's easier for me to transport myself to all of these places than staying outside town, where it would be a lot more stressful to get to the places that I want to get to. So yeah, that is one point to consider. And also what I was going to mention on this point is that most of the hotels or Airbnbs or whatever it is you're booking, they'll tell you on the website how close these things are. So they'll tell you there's a bus stop close by, they'll tell you there's a shopping center or a shopping mall close by, they'll tell you there are restaurants close by, they'll tell you there's a train station close by. Basically, most of these places have those information on their website or on the platform when you're booking. On booking.com is one of the popular platforms where you book accommodation. Most of those hotels or accommodations have this information there, so you can make use of that to help you decide. And if not, you can just check on Google Maps helps. Like there's almost everything location wise is on Google Maps, so if you just put the place on Google Map, you can even check Street View, and it will show you where you are, to tell you what you have close by and stuff like that. So yeah, that's one of the things to consider. Now, number 5 or 6, I think 6 whichever one. The next one is to consider food options. It's very important. Food is life, guys. You want to be sure that we are taken care of in regards to eating. So you want to consider food options. So now some of these Airbnb, some Airbnbs even would give you an option of breakfast. Okay, they'll tell you that they can provide you breakfast. Hotels will tell you there's breakfast included. Some of them, they have breakfast, lunch and dinner included, in the options. Some of them, they don't have it included per se, but then they have like restaurants in the hotel where you can actually go and eat. Some of them you have to book for it before you go. Some of them, they have all these options. All of these accommodations have all these varying options, but you want to be sure that, or you want to check what options they have before you actually book the accommodation based on what you want. And also, apart from the kind of food options that are included, or food time options that are included, you also want to know what kind of food they serve, because if you're a picky eater and you are going to one place and they only serve local dishes, then it might not be to your taste. It might not be something that you'd enjoy. You might find out that you've paid for food and then you still find yourself going out of the hotel to find food to eat, which is extra money. So you want to check what kind of, if the information is available, of course, you want to check what kind of food is served, if you're actually going for the option of food included in the hotel. And yeah, and also, you know, yeah, and then also for Airbnbs, you want to get yourself prepared for bringing food over, if you're allowed to travel with food to the country it is where it is you're going, so that you can cook, you know, when you get there. So yeah, that's kind of one of the things to consider as well before you book your accommodation. The next point that I want to mention, it's not really, you know, important to so many people, but I mentioned it in my previous video when I talked about the adult only kind of accommodation. So you might want to consider whether that's the kind of accommodation you want to go to. I've said it before, that adult only option is really quite good if you want some quiet and silence. There's something that comes with when you have kids. I have a child, so I'm not against having kids, like I've said that before. But when you have a hotel where there are kids running about playing, when you get to the pool, there are so many kids in there, you know, that they're just like splashing things all over the place. Sometimes you just want that peace and quiet when it's just you and your partner that is going away, or when it's just you, even sometimes that is going away. Sometimes you just want that peace and quiet. So there are those kind of options to consider when you're booking a hotel. But of course, if you have kids, then you want to consider that the hotel is capable to accommodate you with kids also, you know, on the flip side. Yeah, so that's another thing to consider. Now, another thing to consider is, do you want a hotel or a place that has an accommodation that has activities included? So games nights, you know, there was a place we stayed in Cyprus where they had games night every single night. They had shows where somebody would come and fire would be coming out of his mouth. They'll be, you know, juggling and stuff. We had games night where there was like bingo night, and if you're lucky enough to win, then you get cash prizes, you know. We had karaoke nights, places in that same place where we stayed in Cyprus. They had karaoke nights where I sang. I don't know if I might just put a clip of the video for you guys to see if I find it. Or a live band even, you know. There was a place we went to in what's it called now, Mallorca in Spain, where there was a live band, and I think I vlogged a bit of it every night when, you know, these people will come up and sing and stuff like that. But yeah, there's places like that offer those kind of activities where you can just relax in the evenings and enjoy yourself, and in the afternoons as well. Sometimes they just do one or two things just to keep you entertained. So there are places like that, and you might want to consider that as well when you're booking your accommodation, if that's something that's of interest to you. Another thing to consider is if the accommodation has some amenities like pools, like gym, if you're that kind of person, like a massage place. Some of these things, I know I'm mentioning all these things and it looks like, oh, those kind of additional amenities to a hotel or to an accommodation might be expensive. In actual fact, some of them are not as expensive as you think. Some of them that include all of these things are not as expensive as you think. But yeah, I mean, of course, there are luxury places where they have, you know, extra things. So if that's the sort of thing that you're after, then you want to consider that and stereotype your search to that, you know, sort of thing. So yeah, you want to consider that. And also when it comes to amenities or activities, you want to consider, if you have kids, particularly, you want to consider what kind of amenities they have for kids. Like, do they have a play area? Do they have shows for kids? Because I remember in Cyprus, the hotel we stayed, there were shows for kids as well. There were actually people that were for, it was like a play team that they were for kids, you know, and then the kids would all go and play or whatever. Of course, the adults can have a nice time whilst the kids play. So yeah, you want to consider something like that if that accommodation has those kind of things included, if that is sort of what you're going for. But again, like I said, it's just to enlighten you guys to know that some places have all of these things. So it might just help you widen or broaden your search, or to know what to include when you're actually searching for an accommodation to book. Also, you want to consider the view of your room. If there is one thing I absolutely enjoy, is to have a nice view. especially if you are going to a really lovely place. I mean, you don't want to book a hotel that is surrounded by something like that and then have a room that doesn't quite give you a beautiful view. So I don't know, it might not be important to some people. And then, like, you know how they say one man's meat is another man's poison, yeah, right? But for me, I just feel like the view is quite important, and so that's one thing to consider. And some of these hotels will let you know that this is the view that you're getting. They'll even give you a picture, they'll even show you a picture of it when you're booking, that this is what you're getting, right? So, you know, it might be worth considering and just booking a room that you know that would have a view, a beautiful view, so that when you wake up and you open your curtains, you're like, oof, God is good, hallelujah. Anyway, that's one thing I thought to add to it for you to consider. Another thing to consider is cancellation policies for the accommodation where it is you want to book. Free cancellation basically is what I'm talking about. It might be worth looking for places or booking places that allows you free cancellation up to like a week or a day before the planned date. This is really important because sometimes things come up, you know, and you want to be sure that you can cancel this booking without being charged almost half the price sometimes of the place you're going. Sometimes it can be a bit, you know, especially if you've saved up for something like that and you're like, oh, something has come up, I can't really make it, then you can easily cancel. For instance, what we do is we book up to 3 or 4 different accommodations when we're going somewhere, and then all of these allow us to cancel up to like a week or a day before the planned date. We then decide when it's closer to the time that, okay, well, this is where we want to go to based on so and so reason, and then we cancel the other ones that we're not going to use. I don't know if that's everyone's cup of tea, to be fair, but I just feel like that has helped us to be flexible with decisions and to be able to, you know, like if we can't really decide way in advance, then that helps us, of course. So it might be worth considering booking places that have such flexible cancellation policies, just so you do not lose your deposit or you don't lose money unnecessarily, you know. Especially if it's something urgent that's come up, if it's an emergency and you can't really make it. Of course, you want to cancel the accommodation at no cost as much as possible. And then finally, the point that I'm going to touch on is reviews. I cannot stress, I told you about this in the last video when I was talking about the different what's it called now, was it anyway, I mentioned this before in one of my other travel videos, but I cannot stress or overemphasize the beauty or the importance of reviews, guys. It is so important for you to check reviews after you've done your budget, after you've checked where you want to go, the proximity, after you've decided on the kind of hotel you want, on you know, whether it's going to come with food, after I've decided on everything, every other thing that I've mentioned, after you've decided all of that and you've streamlined your options and you've narrowed it down, then you now want to check the reviews for the places that are available for you to choose from, because those things actually, whoever created reviews, I know that sometimes reviews do not work to some people's favor because 1, 2, 3 random person that is just a hater would come and put so many rubbish things on the website. I know that happens, but I also know that, say, let's call it 85 or 90% of the time, reviews actually tell you precisely what you need to know about a particular place or a particular thing. So it is really, really important for you to check reviews. You want to consider checking reviews for the places that you've bookmarked or the places that you've actually highlighted or starred to go to before you go there. So because that's where you'll find out how pleasant the people, the staff there is or are. That's where you find out, you know, how easy it was for people to get around. You know, that's where you find out the area, the location it was, how pleasant it was to stay in. That's where you find out the things that they had in the hotel, how functional they were. You know, those kind of things. That is in the reviews that the website can put it all. They can put pictures on there. They can tell you what it looks like and stuff. But it's actually in the reviews that you get to find out the true picture of where it is you're going. So yeah, I cannot overemphasize the importance of reading reviews, before you actually book an accommodation. So yeah, that is one ultimate thing to consider. Consider reading people's reviews before you book. Okay. So guys, I have come to the end of this video. I'm interested to know if any of you guys find these points helpful. I feel like if you're a pro in traveling, you might be like, yeah, you know, I know all of these things. But you know, particularly if you're new to traveling, like I've always been saying in my previous videos, and you're like, okay, well, I don't know what to do. And if you're traveling on your own and you're just trying to, you know, to sort yourself out, then I feel like all of these points will be important for you to note, and it will help you in making the right decision as to what accommodation you'll be staying in when you travel, when you go on holiday. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I would like to know in the comment section below what you feel. Did you find any of these points helpful? Are there any other travel videos that you want to know, as long as I have experience? Because of course all of these things I'm saying is out of experience. As long as I have experience, then of course I would share from my experience and let you know. So if there's anything you'd want to know, then just put it in the comment section below. If you have any other points to add, then yes, please let us know in the comment section, because I also want to know if there are any other things that would help me, you know, plan better or book a better accommodation when I want to plan for my holiday. So thank you so much guys for watching. I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I said it last week, we're trying to see if we can get up to 500 subscribers by 5th of August, because 5th of August is my birthday, and that would be a beautiful birthday present for me, wouldn't it guys? Yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna see you next week, but before I go, like I always say, please stay safe, okay? Be cool, travel. This world, there are things around the world that you need to see, so go and travel. Go and book your holiday and travel. Don't be doing Ijebu like me, okay? Okay guys, I will see you next week. Take care, bye.